Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a poor boy named Jack who lived with his mother in a small cottage. They were so poor that the only thing they had left was their cow, Milky-White. One day, Jack's mother told him they had to sell the cow to get money for food. So, off Jack went to the market, leading Milky-White along. On the way, Jack met a strange old man who offered him something very odd: magic beans. "Plant these beans, and they will grow into something amazing," the old man promised. Jack, being curious and maybe a little too trusting, agreed to trade his cow for the beans. When Jack returned home with the beans, his mother was furious. "What have you done?" she cried. "We can't eat beans." In her anger, she threw the beans out of the window and sent Jack to bed without supper. The magic begins. The next morning, Jack woke up to an incredible sight. A huge beanstalk had grown overnight, stretching all the way up into the clouds. Without even thinking twice, Jack decided to climb the beanstalk to see what was at the top. When Jack reached the clouds, he found a strange land high above the world. And in the distance, he saw a giant castle. Feeling adventurous, Jack made his way toward the castle. As he got closer, he could feel the ground shaking with every step. This was no ordinary castle. It was the home of a giant. Meeting the giant and his treasures, Jack sneaked into the giant's castle and was amazed by the treasures he found inside. There were piles of gold coins, a magical harp that could play music all by itself, and a hen that laid golden eggs. But just as Jack was about to grab some treasure, he heard a loud, thundering voice. "Fee-fi-fo-fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive, or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." It was the giant. Jack quickly hid, trembling as the giant stomped through the castle. The giant sat down to eat his dinner, and after a while, he fell asleep. Seizing his chance, Jack crept out of his hiding spot and stole a bag of gold coins before dashing back down the beanstalk. Jack's daring return. Jack and his mother were thrilled with the gold coins, but soon they ran out of money again. Jack, being the brave and maybe a bit reckless boy he was, decided to climb the beanstalk once more. This time, Jack snuck into the castle and took the hen that laid golden eggs. Again, the giant roared. "Fee-fi-fo-fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman." But once more, the giant fell asleep, and Jack escaped with the hen. Back home, Jack and his mother now had plenty of golden eggs to keep them rich. But Jack couldn't stop thinking about the giant's other treasure, The magical harp. The final climb. Determined to get the harp, Jack climbed the beanstalk for a third time. He tiptoed into the castle and grabbed the magical harp, but this time the harp shouted, "Master! Master! Help! I'm being stolen!" The giant woke up with a roar and chased Jack through the castle. Jack ran as fast as he could, carrying the harp, but the giant was close behind him. Jack raced down the beanstalk, with the giant in hot pursuit. When Jack reached the ground, he grabbed an axe and began chopping down the beanstalk. The giant was halfway down when the beanstalk began to wobble. With one last chop, the beanstalk came crashing down, and the giant tumbled from the sky, never to be seen again. A happy ending. With the gold coins, the golden eggs, and the magical harp, Jack and his mother were never poor again. They lived happily ever after, and Jack learned that while adventure is exciting, it's also important to be smart about the choices you make. The moral of Jack and the Beanstalk. Bravery can lead to great rewards, but it's important to think before you act. Jack was brave enough to climb the beanstalk and face the giant, but he also took some pretty big risks. His adventure teaches us that courage is important, but we also need to make smart decisions along the way. Questions about Jack and the Beanstalk. 1. What did Jack trade for the magic beans? 2. What did Jack find at the top of the beanstalk? 3. What did the giant shout when he smelled Jack? 4. What did Jack steal from the giant's castle on his last trip? 5. How did Jack stop the giant from chasing him?
Little duck.